Hey y'all, it's Ryukin here, and welcome to an episode of the weekly dose of reviewing stuff. And today, in this episode of the weekly dose of reviewing stuff here, we are going to take a look at the worst phone. Not that type of feature phones, not that type of this phone, but a smartphone. Well, why do they still exist here in 2026? Yeah, I have this phone right here that has been the time capsule right here for so long now. Which this thing right here, it was my dad's, and it was my dad's failure decision right here on buying a budget phone. Which at the time he bought this phone right here was already the worst budget phone that he ever got. So that's why he ditched this phone right here, and that's why I have a chance right here to review it. And well, of course, this phone right here has been around like since 2018 now, which is like about almost 7 or 8 years ago now at this point at the time recording this. And here, this phone right here was released in 2018, and that is called, therefore, a Wiko Jerry 3. Released in 2018, and it's got the worst specs that a smartphone here can ever get back in 2018, and that's what makes this phone right here a phone. You can see of how this phone right here is, and you're going to see what I mean right here. And we take a look at around the body of this phone right here. The body of the phone right here is made of plastic, completely janky, and the blue quality right here, which I'm gonna say is something that you would expect right here from the phones right here this old. Quite budget, but you got like a plastic body on it. You can see of how cheap this phone is. And on the front, so you got your 18:9 aspect ratio widescreen right here, which of course it is only boasts a 720p display, which is not going to offer you that much. And on the top right here, you got your 5 megapixel camera with a flash for taking photos. And on this side right here, you got your power button and your wire rocker. On the top, you got your headphone jack and your micro USB charging port. And on the bottom is your microphone, which is basically just a little pinhole there. And on the back, you got your speaker, and on the top is your camera. Not joking, this is your main camera. 5 megapixels with fixed focus, like the front camera. Well, as we all know that the front cameras of the smartphones of this era, they only boast a fixed focus camera, which of course, what it does right here, it is basically going to focus from afar right here without having to get into any trouble to get the steering wheel to focus at all. Which unlike of the smartphones right here of this era, or even back then in 2017, where there was like that one smartphone that I used to have like back in the day, the Sony Xperia X1. On that phone right here, it has an 8 megapixel front camera with an autofocus, which is what I really like. And I think more smartphones should do that actually, especially on the entry-level smartphones like the one that I have right now. If they give you an autofocus on front camera, oh, that would be great for the photography right here. And yeah, of course, the most of the smartphones right here would end up getting a fixed focus camera on the front camera anyway, only to maintain the focus right here on the main camera for an autofocus, like my A70 right here that I'm using to record this video right now. And back to the Wiko Jerry 3 right here. Although the Jerry 3 right here, it is phone, but what about the inside, the guts of the phone? As for the inside the guts right here, especially when it comes to the RAM and the ROM, the RAM is only 1 gigabyte, the worst amount of RAM that you can ever get on a smartphone, and a 16 gigabyte of internal storage / ROM. Barely hold any apps. Like at this price range right here of a Wiko, you can still get a better smartphone like the Samsung A07 or some budget Realme phones or budget Xiaomi phones. This type of smartphone right here still offer you a good contrast and a good specs right here and a better camera compared to this. Which for this phone right here, which I think like, oh my goodness, it is really bad to compensate compared to those of the smartphones out there that is like at this price range right here. You can still get the Samsung A07, especially the 5G model. That one has the better specs and way cheaper than this thing, or even if it's a bit expensive in terms of 3,000 baht in budget, which is like what my dad bought this phone right here back in the day. And we take a look at the operating system right here on this phone, and of course I have completely isolated the phone right here, which that means this phone right here is going to be in a complete offline mode, which of course this phone right here is got cut off the internet, which 90% of this phone right here doesn't work. And the only thing right here that still works, it is the voice recorder and some internet browsing, which I'm not going to do that in this video, and the camera. Yeah, the camera and the voice recorder, that is the only thing right here that is still works on this phone. And now we are going to take a look at the operating system right here on this phone. Miss Circle's favorite. The operating system right here that is running on this phone is an Android 8.1 Go Edition, or better known as the Android Oreo Go Edition. Yeah, Miss Circle's favorite operating system so far. And how do I know that? We take a look at settings, we take a look at the system, and there you got your operating system, which of course is Android 8.1. The security patch right here about the phone, it is from April 5 of 2020. Well, pretty much outdated. Outdated 6 years ago now at this point, or maybe 5 or 6, I don't know. And we take a look at the Android version right here, and I'm going to double tap to get an Easter egg. Oh, there we go. As you can see here, when I tap on the Easter egg, oh my goodness, even the Easter egg is also laggy. So as you can see here, here's an Android Oreo Easter egg right here. So as you can see, here's what it looks like so far. And yep, that's it. That's the Easter egg. And of course, here's the model right here, which is a W_K300, which is the model name right here for the Jerry 3 himself. And the phone itself right here is pretty much old and outdated, which that means the most of the modern apps right here mostly don't work on this phone. And the only way that you can get this thing here to work is browse through the internet, and that's it, which is like 1,000 times slower. Oh my goodness. Imagine browsing internet on this phone with the pretty much the slowest ass quality of the Wi-Fi antenna or any other of the internet that you can get on this phone, especially when it comes to having only 1 GB of RAM. Oh my goodness, how absurd this phone is. And as for the camera, which we take a look at the camera right here, take a look at it real quick. So as you can see here, here's the camera. And of course, the camera itself right here is only both at 5 megapixels. If I zoom in on that, it's going to get pixelated. For instance, right here, I'm going to take a picture right here of the poster over there. Alright, if I compare it to when zoom out, just this range like this. There we go. And as you can see here, here's what it looks like right here of the photo. Which of course, when I zoom in, the picture got pixelated and seems to be kinda usable at times, but by the overall, this phone right here, it is still, yes, what it is. The specs is completely outdated, 1 GB of RAM and 16 GB of internal storage, which I don't know if it actually has that much of a storage to comprehend all of those basic tasks right here on this phone. And of course, you got your HDR mode and your flash, which of course this thing has a flash, which is a nice thing. And the other modes right here besides the photo and video is nothing. Yeah, that's the settings. I'm not photoshopping this video. This is the entire settings of the other modes. You got your only beauty mode on this phone. Oh my goodness, how cheap this phone is back in the day. Like, imagine my dad using this phone right here. He kind of got frustrated like over time as he used this phone right here. And the picture size right here you can get, it is only up to 5 megapixels. At the lowest right here you can get, it is 2 megapixels, 18:9 aspect ratio, which here you can also shoot a photo right here 1:1 for 3 megapixels, which it is still better, but it's not going to give any difference aside this phone right here is only boasting at 5 megapixel stills. As for the front camera right here, it doesn't make any difference at all. So let me just actually take a selfie right here real quick. As for the selfie, here's what it looks like right here. As you can see here, it looks kinda okay, but I guess like from phone right here of this, you can see of how soft the image is. Like you can see of how, like especially this part right here, as you can see, the text on there, it is unrecognizable when zooming on that. And if you're wondering, this part right here, it is where I noticed some of the stuff right here that my new camcorder likes. You can see that of how absurd the front camera is. Like, oh my goodness. I don't know if it's actually my fault that my hand aren't stable enough, but I guess this phone right here, it is still bad as what it is in 2026. As for the other things right here that I want to do with this phone right here, which, yeah, tomorrow right here, I'm going to go outside and touch grass right here to get some photos here of this thing right here, which I'm going to see of how this phone right here can handle much of a photography cost, which is the only thing right here that I can do on this phone right here, which I haven't signed into any Google account or anything right here on this phone, which, yeah, of course I did only sign in one account right here on this phone, which is my only educational account, which right now it is no longer in use due to I got graduated like many months ago. Alright, and now without any further hesitation right here, let's get the great photography test right here on the Wiko Jerry 3 from 2018, the worst ultra budget smartphone ever. Let's take it to the photography course. And of course, I'm going to record some video with this thing too, if I really want to. And see y'all there tomorrow. Wow. I'm back from touching grass outside to take some photography course with this Wiko Jerry 3 right here, and right now I'm using the same phone right here to record the video too. And as you can see here right now, I'm recording the video right here in 1080p, and of course the FPS or the frame rates right here are going to be almost the same as maybe around 27 or 25 frame rates, I don't know, but it seems to be a bit slow compared to the 30 FPS on my A17 right here. And of course, I didn't use my A17 to film this part here. I used a Jerry 3 right here to film this part. So there is no external microphone were used in this part. So which that means the camera right here is only using its Bluetooth microphone. So the audio from the Bluetooth microphone right here will be different from what you have used to right here in the first part of the video, which I used a Murphac N2 and the A17 right here to record the video in the first part. And as for the second part right here, I use a Jerry 3, which it really makes a difference right here in terms of video quality. And the only disadvantage of the Wiko Jerry 3 right here is that the back camera, it doesn't have any autofocus at all. It's only fixed focus, guys. Like, I took this thing right here up close, you can't even see anything. Like, it is just blurry. Like, let it focus on this Abby figurine right here, like for instance. See this? Yeah, you can't even see his outline detail on him. So, this Wiko Jerry 3 right here, I'm going to give a conclusion that it is still the worst budget phone as what it is. So, and let me just switch back to my main camera right here, and then we are going to take to the conclusions right here of what I think about the Jerry 3 right here, body overall. And to conclude that in the next part of the video. And we are so back to the main camera, as I'm going to be conclude everything right here after the experience and some experience that I've done with the Wiko Jerry 3. So let's conclude that. So as for the Samsung A17 right here, the one that I was using to film this video right now, so as you can see here, the quality right here, it is completely different from what you have seen on the part where I have used the Jerry 3 right here. Which on the Jerry 3 right here, the Jerry 3, although it can record video in 1080p, but the back camera doesn't have autofocus. It's only fixed focus, which that means there is no absolute way they can get this up close right here without having to get the subject right here blur out. Or else you might have going to use some assistance like this right here, for instance, which of course this is just some wide lens and a macro lens right here that is going to help this thing right here focus on close-up objects. Which, yeah, for this phone right here, I'm going to conclude everything that this phone, it is still the worst and somewhat as what it is. It's an ultra budget smartphone, and it's also because like of the specs and of the outdated things right here that you would expect on this phone. As for the specs right here, 1GB RAM and 16GB of storage, this thing can barely work. Even if in the modern day world we use YouTube, we use banking apps, we use X, Discord, blah blah blah, this phone, it wouldn't budge. Because like this phone right here, although would you trust an outdated operating system with an outdated security patch from 2020? Hell nah, I don't think so. Because like imagine you want to sign in for this thing right here, which I actually did. I have the other account right here where that one account it's only used for education purposes, and right now it's left unused due to everything that happened, including the graduation like months ago. So yeah, that account is not in use now. So it's just some burner account actually, and I actually have some files on it on the Google Drive. Yeah. So, and of course, although I do have some burner account right here signed onto this phone, and including my dad's also, because my dad kind of used this phone here for quite a while, and until he still conclude that this phone sucks, still sucks and sucks as what it is, pretty ultra budget. And of course, for the price right here that my dad paid for this thing right here, it was around 3,000 bucks at the time he bought this phone, and the price got dropped dramatically from 3,000 down below to 500. Yeah, I'm not joking. This phone is like cost you like $35. Oh my goodness, pretty cheap, not gonna lie. And wait, there's another competitor right here that is going to be, guess what, returned somehow, and that is the Core Prime that I got resurrected like a few days ago. So as for the Core Prime right here, the Core Prime, I think it performed better in terms of using the camera right here, and like the Wiko, which the Wiko, the back camera right here, it's not going to be bulged because like it suffer a lot of noises and a lot of gainy noise in the image, and of course it's digital, so it's not the hardware itself doing that, it's just the software that they try to make it brighter. And HDR on this thing here, it quite work, but it's just, you know, it is just a, okay, hold on a second, okay, the video stop. So for the Wiko right here, the back camera, it suffer a lot of image grain and image noises, which that means this phone right here is not going to be bulged when shooting low light, unlike this one right here, which although it also suffer a lot of image noises and image grain right here when it comes to shooting low light, but this phone right here, it still performs better than this one, because the Core Prime right here, it has like a pretty much a vibe of a 2000s digicam, but meanwhile this one is just wouldn't bulge, and it still can't do anything much. But aside, both of these cameras right here are both at 5 megapixels, which it really makes a bit of a difference there in terms of quality. And meanwhile on the Wiko right here, the Wiko back camera is just a webcam sensor stuck onto the body of a smartphone, but meanwhile on the Core Prime, which the Core Prime is actually the phone camera itself stuck onto the body of it. Yeah, you can see the difference there though, but both of these right here are completely outdated, and I think this one performed better than the Wiko Jerry 3. Like, many times. Maybe 4 times actually, but yeah. It is still better. This one's still better in terms of using the camera, and meanwhile this right here is worse at the camera use. But otherwise, for the essentials, I think this phone right here pretty much win this thing. because like this right here, although it runs on Android KitKat, yeah, pretty old outdated operating system there, and the security patch is from 2017, which is no longer in use. And as for the Wiko right here, although it wins in terms of the security patch, but it is still outdated anyway. Runs on Oreo Go Edition, Miss Circle's favorite operating system, and the pretty much outdated security patch from 2020. In my conclusion, this phone, it is still worse, ultra budget as what it is. It's just there for a reason. Alright, I guess if you want to buy this phone right here for comedic purposes, that's okay. Or if you want to actually use it, yeah, you might going to risk yourself right here on this phone, because the security patch is no longer in updated like 5 years ago now at this point, or maybe 6 years ago. Oh my goodness. So, would you want to use this phone here in 2026? Hell nah, I'm not going to use it. Because I already have my A70 right here, and this thing, the all else is basically a beautiful paperweight and an alarm clock, and that's it. Or maybe a voice recorder, who knows. Alright, and that is all right here for this day's episode, and if you like this nonsense stuff right here, or you want to see me play Minecraft, or you want to see me do some real life videos like this, and I forgot to say something. After all, I'm going to conclude everything that the Wiko J3, it is still worse ultra budget as what it is. That's why I'm going to be conclude everything right here in this video. So yeah, if you want to risk any data got ripped off, yeah, I'm not going to guarantee 100% if this is safe for you. But like if you want to use for doing contacts or you want to message someone, yeah, this phone, it is still good for essential use. And thanks y'all again for watching, and remember to press that like, comment and subscribe แล้วก็มันจะเป็นกำลังใจให้ผมในการคลิปต่อๆไปทั้งในวันนี้และก็ในอนาคตด้วยนะครับ and that is all for today's episode folks, and I'll see you all there next one. Stay safe, stay awesome everybody, and อย่าหลงเชื่อใคร because the big brother is watching. Literally 1984. Alright, that's enough. That's enough 1984 jokes. Alright, I'll see you all there next one. And for what am I going to do with this Frankenstein right here? Pretty much the future is certain now. I'm going to turn into an iPod. Samsung Galaxy Core Prime because it's an iPod. Yeah, this is what I wanted from this phone. Pretty nice iPod by the way, with the Samsung branding on it. Alright, I'll see you all there on the next one. Bye bye. สวัสดีครับ And thanks again for watching. And thanks y'all again for watching, and remember to press that like, comment